By now, I'm sure you know that the Bible was written in Hebrew. You probably also know that there are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, but did you know that each letter in the Hebrew alphabet has a numerical value ascribed to it? This is called GEMATRIA. So here's a chart with the standard numerical values for each letter. There are other systems and value charts within different interpretations, but for today we're going to be focusing on this standard chart. So feel free to save it, screenshot it, use it whenever you need it. So let's start off with the main method we'll call standard gematria. Let's use the word shalom, for example, meaning peace. So the word shalom has 4 Hebrew letters in it. Shin is 300, Lamed is 30, Vav is 6, Mem is 40. So the numerical value of the word shalom is just simply added up, 376. Now, another method goes further by reducing the numerical value to a single digit. So if the sum is greater than 9, you simply add the integer values repeatedly until you finally reach just a single digit. So we saw that shalom equals 376, so we simply just add 3 plus 7 plus 6 to get 16, and then again 1 plus 6 so that we can end up with one digit, 7. The digit sum of shalom is 7. Now, in discussing gematria, we have to try pinpointing what type of interpretational tool it is. So is it basic for any student, or is it reserved for higher education? Generally speaking, interpretations of the Hebrew Bible fall into 4 categories. So the peshat is the simple meaning. This is the plain meaning of the text. It's as simple as it's read. That's how simple the explanation is. Then there's the remez, which is the ideas that are hinted at by the text or the clues in the text, followed by the drash. These are the sermonic details. You make, your own little narrative out of it. And then finally is the sod, the highest, the most elevated level, that are the mystical or esoteric teachings. And the initials for each of these words form the Hebrew word pardes, this acronym. Pardes means orchard. So gematria would generally be included in the second of the 4 categories, but it is also prominent in Kabbalistic writings, the mystical era of Judaism. Let's go over a few examples of using gematria as an interpretational tool within the Torah. A popular example is the story of Jacob staying with his uncle Laban. And we know that, as the narrative goes, Laban wasn't the best of, wasn't the greatest uncle, wasn't the best of people, but Jacob did his time doing what he needed to do. So the Torah says, Ko amar avdecha Yaakov im Lavan garti ve'echar ad ata. Thus said your servant Jacob, I have sojourned with Laban, and have tarried until now. So the Hebrew word for sojourned is garti, and that word has a numerical value of 613. So Rashi, the famous Jewish commentator, sees this as an indication that even while living with his wicked uncle Laban, Jacob was able to stay committed and faithful to the 613 commandments and the Torah. Again, this is Jewish tradition. Whether you want to take this as historical or not, that's besides the point. Here, you're seeing how the numerical value of a single word in the phrase, in the text, in the biblical just line, well, that provides an insight as to the holy narrative within the Torah as explained within Jewish tradition by Jewish sages. Another example is found in the Talmud, and this one has an end goal, an end game that promotes the very nature of Torah study. So it says, someone who reviews a chapter 100 times cannot be compared to someone who reviews it 101 times. What's the difference between 100 and 101, right? Why those two numbers specifically, though? Well, the key is in the numerical values of the very words remember, zachor, and shachach. So zachor has a numerical value of 227, while shachach, which means to forget, has a numerical value of 328. So the actual difference of these two numbers is 101. The rabbis teach that each time one reviews a passage, he removes 1 degree of forgetfulness until after 101 times he has reached the level of remembering. Despite the cryptic and esoteric nature of this interpretational method, the rabbis teach that gematria is simple arithmetic. So anyone with a calculator can come up with some creative interpretations. The Lubavitcher Rebbe clarified that the numerical equivalence of 2 words doesn't always imply an inherent connection. To the rabbis, words with the same numerical values share a spiritual force, but an inner link is only established when there's a known relation between the words. Basically put, Gematria is a legitimate tool for interpreting Torah, but only when used correctly to produce meaningful insights. Jews believe that one has to be of stable mind to even study the numerical values in order to not go fanatical, since there have indeed been those who have used this interpretational method to predict upcoming elections and to affirm popular conspiracy theories. And perhaps there's somebody even out there that has tried convincing a girl to marry him because their names share a numerical value. Possible. But Gematria finds its truest purpose within the bounds of Torah, where its insights are a means to illuminate the text, transcending the plain to revelatory. So to misuse this method is to stray from its intended path, and it distorts any sanctity. It misrepresents its truths. So using Gematria for anything outside the realm of Torah, if you're endorsing a political party or if you're persuading people in personal matters, that's just manipulation. The misuse dishonors the sacred tradition of this Jewish interpretation. Thank you so much for having watched, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Shalom, shalom.